Hey everyone, Ben with Nabors Pools here. Got a quick tip for the winter. I know last year everyone here in Texas, we got to experience such a beautiful time off with friends and family thanks to having no electricity. So today I wanted to go over a few tips and tricks in case of a hard freezing event or extreme weather where we have freezing temperatures and no electricity. So we'll go ahead and go over that now. So the first step that you want to do is go ahead and turn off the equipment. And if possible, turn it off at the breaker. What you don't want to do is take these steps, have the power come off and then back on. It'll only damage your equipment more. So you want to make sure everything is shut off at the breaker, or here we have timers. And then Carl here is going to go ahead and start opening up the drain plugs. What we want to do is remove the water from the equipment. And remember, only do this if you're comfortable and capable. We don't want to put anyone in harm's way by sending this video out.
Excellent. So pretty much every pump on the equipment pad has some form of draining in it. And the idea is we want to get as much water out of the above ground plumbing as possible so that it doesn't freeze and expand and crack our pipes. So here's the filter pump here. We have a couple drain plugs. Be sure to keep these in a safe place because you're going to need them later whenever we charge back up the system.
And on these are the Hayward drain plugs. They're easy to grab with your hand and you just take them off. There is an O-ring on the end of the drain plugs.
So again, we're letting all the air out of the system. So here's the filter pump. We'll do the same for the water feature pump here. And we're going to remove the pump lids as well. Now through the filter, we're going to release the air relief valve here on top. We're going to let all the water drain out. On the multi-port valve here, if you have a DE filter, you're just going to move this valve to the winterized position or just off to the side like that. It's going to let some air in there. And then on the heater, every heater is different. On this one, the drain plug's on the back. It's very similar to the filter pump. We're just gonna unscrew that. You're gonna want to put them all together, put them in a Ziploc bag, make sure you don't lose them. And so now we just want everything to drain out of the system. And we're only doing this for hard freezes with no power. If you're gonna have power, it's only gonna get to freezing for a few hours. Keep your equipment running, you'll be good to go. You don't need to do these steps.
So as you can see on this one's already completely drained out, and we've relieved all the pressure that we can over here. We're gonna let that drain down from there. He's opened up the drain plugs on the heater. And your pumps might look different. They might have different colors, different shapes. What you're looking for is a plug normally at the very bottom of the pump or the housing. They're normally going to be somewhere in the bottom 2 inches on the front or the side. You can have one, you can have two different drain plugs, and some you could use a flathead on. Some you can use like a small set of channel locks if you have to. Once again, just do it if it's within your skill set and capability.
All right, I hope you guys made it through the freeze okay. Now you should have power to your house, and we want to refill all the equipment and get the pool up and running. So we're gonna have to prime the pump. So first things first, get your Ziploc bag or wherever you stored your drain plugs, and we're gonna want to reinstall the drain plugs on all the equipment.
Now, it's important when you're doing these not to over tighten them. You don't want to snap something off. It's just nice and snug. It doesn't need to be like cranked down super hard. And then on all of these, they do have like a very small O-ring. And you want to make sure that this is in good shape. It's not missing or cracked, or it's not, falling off. And once again, you're just going to put it in and just nice and snug.
Before we put the pump lid on, we're gonna want to make sure that this O-ring is nice and clean, and you still have the O-ring. So we can just kind of clean it off with a rag. And then before we put this pump lid on, we're gonna prime the pump. So we're gonna fill up the pump with some water. So get a bucket or a hose. Now that the pumps are primed, if you have a multi-port valve here and you put it in the winterize mode, just be sure to put it back into the filter mode. I'm gonna twist this all the way around, back into filter, and then we'll snug these pump lids on here. Again, you want to make sure that the O-rings are free of debris so you don't get any air leaks. Double check all your drain plugs, make sure all the valves are in the correct position, all your chlorinator lids are on, and then we'll go ahead and turn on your breakers because those should be off, and then we'll turn the equipment back on.
It's important that you don't leave the equipment until you see your pump fully primed back up with good water flow and a healthy filter pressure. Remember, if you open this air relief, you're gonna have air and then water coming back out of you.
We want this whole thing to fill up with water. All the air is being released, the water is about to shoot out. Alright. Now it's completely full of water. If you look at the pump lid, it almost looks like there's no water in there. And that's a good thing because there's no air going in there. So that's completely full of water. You can kind of see some bubbles kind of vibrating there. That's good. That's the way it should look. If you have a bunch of air getting into the system, make sure you got enough water in your pool. Make sure your skimmer baskets are emptied. And that's the way it should look. If you guys have any issues during this process and you're getting to a point where it's kind of sticky, you're not sure what you're doing, you're not sure if the valve is turned the right way, leave the equipment off. Give us a call and we'll come out and make sure everything's good to go, because you only really want to turn on the equipment after everything's thawed completely. You don't want to ice block coming in one of these lines and making a clog and breaking something.